The first words of the Bible, I want to say the Hebrew Bible, have been translated in a way that it seems like a story about what some guy named God did long ago. You may have heard me say that understood Kabbalistically, in the light of Kabbalah, those same Hebrew letters that appear without vowels can be read as second person to you, imperative, I hereby say to you to do, present tense, meditative instructions. Okay. And as I translate freely, they can be read to mean, and of course, this is not an authorized translation, and will other Jews disagree with me? Of course.
Of course.
My favorite book is Two Jews, Three Opinions. Nothing is authorized, and everything is possible, including this. In beginning, as you bring creative spirit into all that is heaven and earth, three conditions have to be fulfilled. You have to let all the chaos be as it is. The darkness and evil over the face of the deep. But notice that the spirit of creative energies hover over all you sense. Then you have creative spirit speak light into being, and there will be light.
So the being alive of the creation is even before the light.
Creating happens before light. That's like Tao. The Tao gives rise to the one, gives rise to the two, gives rise to the three, gives rise to the 10,000 things. And you and I are sources of beginning. And every moment is a new beginning, potentially beginning to recreate all of creation and this, and have in it the power to create light, which will also gather the waters, which is love, and the plants and the flowering, and all that is the unfolding that grows out of this initial creative moment. So every moment of contact, every moment of meeting, every moment new beginning, every moment this. A word also used in the Hebrew Bible for God. Just as you've heard me say or write, Bodhidharma, this mind is the Buddha. What mind is this mind? He doesn't ask this, but I ask. What mind is this mind? The mind that gets this. That gets this, thisifying thisness. 1, 2, 3. Out of itself, by means of itself, into more of itself. Creating comes out of creating, creating more creating. Self-co-creating as the ultimate gesture of energy. So all the reflexivity and the turning back on itself of words is to draw us out of the sequentializing, partializing, piecemeal making that estranges ourselves from being ever present in the ever potential originating anew of this. Like you and I make contact now when live. Exquisite, joyous, ecstatic, out of time.
Yeah. Okay. So this is also what you meant in your last long email.
It's what I always mean when I write to you.
Yes, which hinted that it's something that is going on. And
Only
and I felt,
in writing, I do not have the advantage that you give me when we're live.
yeah, yeah,
When we're live, you look, you see, you feel, you make
yeah,
contact, you let in, you extend, you move. There's holding with arms in your lap, but you're still holding me and letting me hold you. It is close, it is intimate, it is full, it is complete. There's no invasion, there's pure invitation, and we're dancing.
mm,
And all I ever mean is to establish this ever more fully with you so that it's not only personal between you and me,
mm,
and it's not only mentorship between you and me, it's also that we concretize a from which so much more enters our lives and our work to radiate more, because this is the announcement of Pareshi Parala Himet Shabayim Haveta, in beginning the Great Spirit and all that is heaven and earth. This is the timeless call of all. And this, that we are cosmic beings capable of this, that we are endowed with these creative powers. This is what I mean. We are the cosmos. She is alive. She's not just a bunch of physical forces, chemical elements, dark holes, dark matter, and all that dead, dumb shit. Dead, numb, dumb stuff that does a caricature of us as some little clumps of an accidental accumulation of stuff that became alive.
writing also has advantages, Artie, because
Yes.
I pondered. I think, no, actually there's an accumulation factor. How do you say that compounding is compounding? Because today for example, I did something different. I had a little bit more to do. So I went to a yoga session at 9:30, and I was in my, okay, I want to go, let's do it. I didn't really want to go, but then I noticed that when I decide to do something and I feel that is a doing day, I tend to detach. I simply get on with it. Okay, let's do the yoga, and then the first call, and then the second call. And today I thought of what you wrote, and I imagined, and it's not even that I imagined, and I wanted it alive. And as you wrote, alive meant together. It's not detached. So what I did, I stayed with my really not sure I want to go to yoga that early. It's cold. I checked with the inner children. So that was different. It was more together and alive than my, okay, come on, let's do it. Tuck, tuck, tuck. And then I finished. So it's compounding. The talking and then what you share. I felt that it was something like I have been telling you many times. And I thought, okay, I can read it again. And then I put it aside because there's not something that I will get by reading it 30 times. But it is shifting.
Yes, I appreciate, and it bears saying here, that you have, without being explicit about it, invited me to draw close enough that I can begin to hold your hand and walk with you so you feel someone at your side in a huge challenge Yes, it took us years to peel back to the point when in your early life as an infant, you were left to cry. And your parents weren't the only one to do that then. That's been the way. That's the way you teach a child. You got to take care of yourself. And you learned, as everyone has for a very, very long time, since civilization arose and mothers could no longer hold infants for 5 years, so they feel utterly accompanied, and their feet don't have to touch the ground until they're ready to go on their own and zoom. No, you had to get strong and tough, and you had to suppress any longing for something other than what you knew was all that was going to come anyway, which is you were going to left to fend for yourself. And you erected a life, a successful, glorious, accomplished life, multilingual, multi-professional, multi-continental executive coach who can go and do and function in all these settings. Having apprenticed yourself with an intellectual and a journalist and a scholar who himself toughed it through war injuries and everything else, and you learned how to do that.
Yes.
Only birthing humanity that is equal to healing in the name of all that is doesn't happen inside such armor. So you have me walking at your side as you bit by bit find your way to peeling back the layer upon layer upon layer of all the highly competent ways to cope and deal and deflect and detach and to do all the rest of that and distract so that you don't have to feel and you don't have to deal and you don't have to be dependent upon feeling anything necessarily except turned on and delighted and distracted and all this kind of amused. But you know, the relating can be kept, you know, carefully grounded and safe.
Definitely.
So what I'm describing, of course, is my own journey and the journey for all of us in this time in history to some degree, different ways. Nobody would sign off on this as the truth for them, but probably all discerning people could find something of themselves in what we're saying here. So yes, you need the writing and the exchanges that we do, the email daily to bit by bit by bit catch yourself. Allow me to hold your hand a bit more. Invite just another layer maybe of peeling. So you do what we call, or I came up with, walk down that hallway to where that screaming infant still lies within you, wailing and completely bereft of any hope of ultimate comfort, accompaniment, soothing, so you can bit by bit approach her. And for all time, lavish that comfort and retroactively bring in first your own life and then
the life of others.
All of us. That's the gesture of humanity. We are living on top of such unimaginable horror.
Yes. Yeah. And this is a great motivation because I know that I can only comfort others if I can find and comfort myself.
Something like that. It may not.
It's not totally linear, but at least I can.
We all.
I can role model.
We're all wounded, and we get into healing or therapy or coaching to help others as a way to help ourselves. And it's true, we can probably do stuff for others before we can do it for ourselves, but always limited by how little we've done for ourselves. So it's always some like this. It's not just this and this. If you didn't do this, you can't do that. So you got to do this first so you can do. There's always some this. You know, doing for others is a way of doing for ourselves until we can do for ourselves even more in the name of health. You know, it's dance like, cuddle like, holding like.
Yes, yes, that's very true. That was one of the mysteries when for many years, I wasn't really eating and very well, and I did not like myself. And yet I met so many supportive and loving people. So I learned that is not, oh, I can only attract loving people if I love myself. No, I would never have moved an inch if that was. So it is, as you say, it is a dance. Yeah.
And to appreciate that newness happened out of, by means of, into more of herself. And that we put that on a plain piece of paper, we make a figure 8. If we put it in 3 dimensions, it's a fat bagel or torus.
Yes, it's the torus, yes.
But if we do it 4 dimensions through time, it makes these kinds of gestures that in the 5th dimension is life. 5 is alive. The 5 lines, 4 limbs, and 1 spine. The 5 leafed, the 5, you know, the leaves on many plants with 5ness, water molecules, they cluster as pentagons with 108 degrees among them. The 5 is alive. It's you might like it.
Oh, I see that you have built.
Well, if 1 is the unity of all, and 2 is pairing, there is no 1 without otherness, and the relation between them is 3, which makes triangle all form. When we add the 4, they become systemic and able to be the simple solid that in geometry is the tetrahedron. In every system is the 4ness of the 4 major clusters of energy in all realms. But 5 is alive, makes it completely symmetrical. 3 with a 1 on either side there's a beauty to it, that this is life, and 5 is alive. The 5 fingers and 5 toes and 5 senses here. The pentagon, take any 2 chords, they overlap, they form the golden mean, named for an Italian mathematician, Fibonacci, that makes the spiral of all growth comes out of a pentagon. It's amazing. So why mention that?
Probably a love for numbers and a keen way to look at reality, if you ask me why you mention it.
Yes, and to show that there's an elegant precision in the unfolding out of, by means of, into more of herself that she then systematizes and brings to life. Those are the steps in the first chapter of Genesis. Those are the steps in our unfolding. Those we recreate all over. And to see that there's a simple and beautiful geometric equivalent as well helps to appreciate that there's something happening that's self-similar at all levels. People call it fractal for a kind of mathematics. But it also comes back to you saying, you've been pondering why it's so important for me to say, we are the cosmos, she is alive. That all our functions are not just localized here, evolutionary accidents on Earth. They're expressing of principles that are all pervasive, timeless, and universal. They play out in us in one body with 2 sides and 3 sections and 4 energy systems and 5ness here and a 6th sense that's the container of all, and so on. 7 stages of 7 years of growth stages, 7 cycles of creative unfolding in plants and mammals and da-da-da, and 8 makes the completion of it all, and 9 is the new 0. And that's at every level. And so to say that, and to begin to appreciate that precision, the beauty, the poetry, the dance, which is number in space, the music, number in time, that we are the dancing poetic music of it all, puts a relationship and an access to the ultimate powers that are ours to bring to this plane. It helps tell us who we are in a way that's concrete, not fanciful, not a belief, not a good idea, not an imagination, not shit you make up. It's like 1 and 1 make 2 in all base systems. That's not made up.
That is important. Yeah. Thank you for taking time, because I sensed that it was a statement, a declaration that brought everything together at a very deep level. And when you again tell me, I realized that it's something that for once I could feel throughout my life, because I could feel when I am in a flow, what I would describe a flow. And the flow is elegant in the sense that I feel that I will always end where I need to go, and I always receive what I need to receive.
Beautiful.
And it's a feeling for once. Huh?
Yes.
It's
Beautiful.
not a thought.
Beautiful.
And then when I no longer feel it, which is, I would say, for now, the majority of the days where I'm on and off, then it fragments. The feeling fragments into thoughts, into actions, and the elegance is no longer there, because there's a lot of superfluous that is there. Whereas for me, the elegance is just like a statue where all the marble has been chipped off, and that is the essence that remains. So when you say this, that is the link. So that is why it is alive. Yeah, because it feels like a living flow, that I am part.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now let me voice, acknowledge, nod to another stream in the living flow.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine entitling this video, A Glimpse of Advancing the Advance. And I would want to introduce you as the daughter who is speaking to me from Lausanne, French-speaking Switzerland, having grown up in Florence, the daughter of a father who not only a war veteran, but became a scholar of the Italian Renaissance. She is steeped in some knowledge of the great, great figures of that time and something of the momentous event that was in human experience. And what we can say now is we are in the midst of a new Renaissance. And all that you were exposed to and what you would see as the flowering as you walk around your native city, whether it's David or whether whatever it is, in Firenze, and you see the magnificence of what inspired these people. It was a coming into civilization and expression in a way that brought them to a sense of world historic, human, and divine proportions mixing together that is happening again here in a way where what they didn't have available, the confluence of East-West meditation, yoga, energy healing, Qigong, all of this becomes embodied in us in this way. It finally lets us, yes, become again as infants. In a way, the signature of all energy, the way we embody in our physical expression, our mental reflexivity, our spiritual truths, I am that I am, as above, so below. And we get the beautiful harmony of it all at a time when we, as a human family, but as cosmic beings, are able to bring heaven to earth as never before. That flow is here too, dear heart, daughter of the Renaissance.